Call the meeting to order. It's 6:10 for Enosburgh Town Selectboard, December 16th, 2024. Any added changes to the agenda? We'll add some discussion on policing at the end, which will need to be an executive for the contract information. Anybody else? Anything?
No.
All right. We'll go right into public comment. Anybody for public comment? Susie? Come on up.
So my printer didn't work. Do I have to come up and go right here?
No,
Anyway,
you're fine.
I just sent it to you, Billy Joe, so you can have it. But so we looked into a different elevator service. We don't have a contract with any elevator service.
Wait a minute, is this for
Can I
the
fight with
Opera
them?
House?
Sorry, yes,
Okay.
Opera House
And
Hut.
this is a public comment?
I come in a public comment.
It should be part of the agenda. Well, she's here. Okay,
Yeah.
but still, it's,
So anyways, we looked into, there's some work that needs to be done after the elevator inspection. And so we reached out to this other company, Alpha, because Schindler was not
Schindler.
answering and
And
super
I have
expensive.
a struggle with them all the time because they send bills and Susie's called them and I called them and I'm like, did you come up? Did you come up? Well, no, but it's part of the contract, so they are charging whether they come up.
And
But we don't have a,
we don't have a contract with them,
But
as
that's
far as
what
I
they
know. We have not had a contract
just
with them
stopped
for
paying.
10 years.
Yeah.
we're paying them, they don't come.
Right.
Yeah. They tried to get us in a contract, we never did. No, a
But they
long
still
time,
send
so.
the-
I didn't know they were still sending you bills, that's crazy.
So there's an inspection on the elevator and it needs some work.
Yeah, so it needs some work, and we got these, I sent it to you, I sent it to Billy John, she'll forward it to you, but they have a contract, pricing options, 2 visits per year per agreement. And basically, there's 3 options: oil and grease, which is a $900 payment, service, which is a $1,400, and service and maintenance, which is $2,300. Kim is recommending, because of things we need to have done, that it would be number 2, which is service, which includes everything in option 1: clean, grease, and examine major examine safety features, floor alignments, clean the pit, adjust minor components, friendly response, blah, 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 annual Cat 1 testing, which we need. And option 2 includes that, plus emergency light phone battery per agreement per year, repair of small components up to 500 labor and materials. And anyway, so all the details are there.
Is this the same company?
This is a different
different.
company called Alpha.
Alpha.
so they
I
showed up
think-
and did the inspection?
No, that's a separate service that comes in, elevator inspector service comes in, and then he writes the list of what you need to get done, and we've not had a load test or anything for, I think, quite some time. I don't think we've had anybody there for quite some time.
No, Vermont Elevator I think came this,
They're the ones that do the inspection,
Vermont Elevator.
yeah,
They do.
and they make the list of what we need to fix.
Right, but I do believe they came, because I have a.
They did.
Yes, I have it in a box.
So we need to react on their list.
I
So
don't
that
know
they
that there is a list, I think there's like a paper that says you're good to go, with the thing that goes in the front.
Right, and they said we needed, we need the cat, we need the light bulb in the machine room, which was in the notes. Anybody could do that. The certificate of operation, we just need to put that in the car. Troubleshoot the fire visual in-op on fire recall issue, and the direction arrow lens. Is what my information is.
That could be, maybe that's something,
Yeah.
the one that it's sitting in my office.
How did it come to you, to the op house?
So
through-
we didn't get past to get the inspection, so Kim had this list from which I thought was that guy in August.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and so now we have to, like, we haven't done a load bearing test for quite some time. That has to be done by the elevator service. I think that's the cat.
So when you say the elevator service, you mean the people that you're asking to hire now, not the inspection company?
Right,
Okay.
right. We're reacting to the inspection report. And the inspector only inspects, he doesn't do any service. So that's one thing on the, one thing that's not, needs to be requested is some approval for something. There's no savings to go to an annual payment. I'm looking at the math, it's exactly double the semi-annual payment, but you can break it up into 2 payments. Like I said, it's anywhere from 900 to 2,300. The middle is the 1,400, which includes the oil and grease and service.
Which is not very much different from,
Schindler,
theirs was like 654 every time I came.
654. The only other information I can say is their standard hourly rate's $275 for a single technician. Weekends is $375. 2-person work standard hourly rate's $375. We don't have construction. Annual CAT test outside of an agreement is 1 to 3 hours. So you take that, if they sent 2 people, it'd be 1,000 something, 1,100.
Well, it says under option 2, it does include quite a bit.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, that would include that. If we didn't do with a contract and we just went with the hourly rate, the annual CAT is 1 to 3 hours, and so that would be, so I think you're gambling a little bit, maybe you're paying $200 extra by going for the service for the $1,400 a year. But since it hasn't been looked at for a while, when they get in, they're seeing things beyond what the inspector sees. Maybe if something comes up, maybe it'll cover it. My recommendation is to go with the number 2, which includes the oil and grease and service. That's $1,400 with Alpha elevator service. Do with that what you need. They're responsive there on Montpelier. I think they do Quincy. And I'm not sure what else.
The other company's out of Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think at some point down the road, not too far in the future, there's some things that are outdated on the elevator that Schindler said they weren't gonna deal with anymore. So we might need to be keeping our eyes open for grants around that. So segueing to the second piece is,
We'll switch sides.
Dean told me a couple weeks ago, we got that grant that, Jesse, that you applied for. It'd be nice to see what they approved, what work they're gonna do, so that we're not spending time looking for people to do things that are already covered by the grant. So if we could get that, information, paperwork or something, so we have it and we can know who's coming in the building, and when our group is looking at grants, we can cross some things off our list, because we've been meeting recently. And by all means, when we narrow down what we wanna apply for, or if we need it to apply for by a municipality, you'll see us back in here with that information, requesting approval to apply for that grant, and whatever that grant might be, and keep you apprised of that. But, that piece would be great. Because it's exciting that we got that. I just don't know what it covers. It's very exciting that we got it.
Do you know what it was covering on the Opera House?
I have to go back specifically and look. It's HVAC, building envelope stuff, windows, doors, mini splits. It's not exclusive to that. We can suggest other items. The challenge with the Opera House though, and they had kind of recognized it, is the historical nature of that. Here, drop a hole in the wall and put a mini split in, no big
Yeah.
deal. Down there, it's a little different
Yeah.
to do that. So they're willing to work with that.
Yeah.
We can kind of move monies from,
Okay.
it's cheaper here to do this project, or the library's cheaper, it's, we can kind of, it's not all just one building or one spot that's appropriate to do. So,
I think that's
Yeah.
one thing you were talking about, is need some work on the doors and stuff.
We need
that
work
I
on
didn't know.
doors, and we're looking at that specifically right now as a top of our priority list. The door on the stairwell as well, that old metal door, I think you replaced
Well,
gasket stuff around it, and that it's since failed, and it just pours in there. That's already a metal door, so I don't know that they can make us have to go back to be historic. It is what it is, so I'm hoping we can replace like with like, but there's a lot of things in there. If you can send me the thing with the verbiage, the actual thing, so we can see it. Yeah,
There's also an accessibility portion to it as well. They had asked us to kind of pad the grant for you guys. You guys are, you know, kind of in good shape aside from the door, you know, but like the library, Brenda's wanting to change that front door, but we did pad it with an extra, I think it was 20% in that, so.
so that document will say kind of how it is right now before you move money around, this is what they're recommending here, this is what they're recommending at the other place, this is what they're recommending at the other place.
So they had given a list of recommendations, then we went back in, I went in, then changed the totals, is what we did. You know, I used that framework that they gave us, and then, like I said, at 0 hour, they talked about the 20% ADA stuff, and they're like, hey, there's a line in there, you can put that in there. So, and then they said, you know, a lot of it's shooting from the hip. There wasn't enough time by the time everything opened up to when you had to submit it to get actual hard-nosed quotes.
Yeah.
So that's why they had said, you know, pad your numbers
Yeah.
really well. So they didn't come back specifically and say, you're gonna fix this, 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 and this. We had said, this is what we know what we need to do, and here, you know, here's just a chunk of money, basically, that we're looking for,
Okay.
is what we
It
did.
would be really good if the ADA part would come into play to do those side stairs.
Yeah, because that's another thing on this, we have ADA issues on the side, that side piece is deteriorated and we need to do work. So if you, is it in email form, PDF form, you can just,
It's in a big PDF, so.
yeah, if you can just send that, that'd be great. So that's that, and then I had posed the question about being able to go down to the electric department and get copies of utility bills when we need them. I'm requesting that again. I guess it's just easier.
I photocopied everything, and you told me the last one was just sitting on the table. I can't
Because when we need it, we have to request it from Billy Joe, and then, you know, it's not a high priority with the scale of everything you guys got going, but for us, while we're doing our stuff, it'd be really great if we could just, oh, we want that, go down and have it within a day or two. Be helpful for us. No authority for anything, just a visual of, can we get a copy of the utility bill?
You want it from the village?
The village
From the
has to
white
give
card.
permission to Lori. I say Lori, but they need to give the permission to bill it.
Do you get them so you could just get a copy from BJ? Does that work?
That's the part that takes too long for us in efficiency wise. I mean, she can do that, but like we haven't, I request them and it's when we get them, and Billy Joe's got more important things than, oh, the Opera House requested utility bill, I'm gonna get that out today thing. And that's understandable, I totally get it. We just like to be able to go and get it so that when we're talking about something or making a decision, you know, we put in a request to get the summer bills. We wanted to make a donation to utilities because we did really well on Annie. You know, and now we're into December, so it would just be handy going forward. I don't think there's any, it's not a risky thing or anything, it's just, you know, trying to manage everything there, and if we can help with that type of thing, it'd be helpful for us to know, as well as going into the winter and our plans. I just would like that.
We're gonna close the building up this winter, or what?
No, I went and I asked permission to do it again, and you guys said yes. We're doing, it didn't cost us anything last year, $35 maybe 1 month for the extra. We used the 2020 baseline on wattages and all, and whatever your quantity things are to heat. And so we're paying above that when the building was empty and you were just maintaining the building. And we're using it and we're paying above and beyond that for January, February, March. So that's another reason to see the utility bills, but it was surprisingly little last year. And we got good crowds. January, February, March, Vermonters are looking for something to do.
Yeah, it's a pretty mild winter.
Yeah.
What do you have scheduled this year, Susie?
We have the Flea and Farmers Market, the first Sundays of January, February, March. We have Tender Bellies, I think it's like the 19th maybe, which is bluegrass, Americana band, and we did it like a mini food drive for the food shop. And we had crock pots of food. February, we're gonna do the Vivacious Valentine thing again, which is the burlesque show. And March is Pride for St. Patrick's Day, somewhere around there. I don't know where St. Patrick's Day falls this year, but very happily not right on all the details because our team is working really well to lift that stuff, so I don't have to be here for every piece. Cowboy, Christmas Cowboy, we've got some local celebrities in on Friday that were in that movie that was shot there at the Opera House. We're doing a red carpet thing, so that's kind of a big deal. Actually, somebody's flying in from Texas or somewhere, so some of the people who made it happen are actually coming. We're trying to make it look very Hollywood. And we just did Best Little Christmas Pageant Ever Friday and Saturday. I was there Friday, full house. It was about an hour-long play with kids, and that was very well received. And the Christmas concert was phenomenal. The Sunday afternoon Christmas concert was great. Yeah, definitely the activity has picked up this last year and a half. And, so very happy with that.
Yeah, it's good to see, and it's good to see the building.
Yeah.
That's good. Alright,
Yeah, I think, Pierre kind of had it, this should have been on its own agenda item, so if you come to a meeting there and we ask to change the agenda, if it's not something just public,
Yep.
then we could put it in and address the problems right then, because I don't know if legally we can address these right now, because it's in public comment section. I don't know if how that works. I'd like to move on this stuff, but I don't want to do it legally.
Well, the elevator thing, I think certainly you probably want to look at those numbers,
Yeah.
and that definitely would need a motion. The grant thing is just a request. I don't think I need a motion for that either. I just,
Okay,
if
yeah.
you can make sure, Jesse, you can get that to me, and then so if someone can reach Lori and say, we want a utility bill, we're not asking for the authority to turn off electricity or anything like that. We want to see the usage of the building that we're occupying.
I think in the meantime, you said you had.
I have the copies for this year,
Okay.
and I think the 23 too.
So this would be going forward.
Yeah. If you want to grab them.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Where is the link, or maybe Billy Joe can send it to me, but all of the events that you were talking about for January, February, March, where is that?
It's on the Opera House calendar.
Which is linked with our calendar, so I can see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then as
It's
we
just in a
finish,
different color than our stuff.
Oh, okay. No, I thought we had one for the whole year.
you will have a report. on-
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And that will
Okay,
include.
that hasn't come out yet.
No, I mean, we want to include all the income and expenses as best we can, so you
Yeah.
can see how, we're making profit, attendance, that type of thing, and that's an ongoing
Yeah.
thing that Kim's supposed to be maintaining, and then at the end of the year, we'll give that to you, and then we also include it in our annual report, which our annual meeting, I think, will be in March this year. It's usually somewhere in February, March, or April.
Okay. All right. So we'll look at the elevator contractor information, move on it, and if you want to grab them from BJ, and then we'll see what we can do for getting it, so you can grab copies or just the
Utilities.
utilities from the, yeah,
It would just be convenient.
yeah. All right,
Thank you.
and we do appreciate all you guys are doing. You
No,
guys
I-
do a great job,
I
yeah.
thank you and hope to see you there at the event.
It's great to hear the full houses, you know,
We've had, it's been the best that I've ever seen it.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
awesome.
very helpful having two part-time employees really who love it, so they're really vested.
That's great. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Susan.
We should switch that.
All right, next on the agenda is Highway Department, and it needs to be an executive for employee purposes.
I mean, he might have something else that's,
I got truck information,
Okay.
pricing, is that on there? Must be.
No.
no, I
You
skipped
wanna
that.
go over that first?
Yeah.
All right.
The, yeah, that first. Employee thing, we might not have to, I don't know how much we want to talk about it. But I'll just go over trucks. I don't have all the answers that I was hoping to have when I got here tonight, but I got enough here to know that what the general price of the trucks is gonna be, about what we anticipated before. So we got two different prices, one from Allegiance, which is an international, and from Charlie Boys, which is a Western Star. What they don't have is also Charlie Boys offers pricing for the Freightliner. But I do have a general rule of thumb from Western Star price, how much less usually a Freightliner is, so ballpark, so I don't have that exact. But the Internationals, they have an HV model and they have an HX model. HV model, to order one now, you're gonna be looking at a new type of engine. It's a European engine, call it an S13, 13-liter engine is what they're putting in these International. European motor that I guess is proven and then it's a great thing there, but I'm not sure that I'm anxious to be in the guinea pig.
Does it still use DEF?
Yes. Actually,
Need a John Deere engine.
these might be trying to get away from
That's why I was wondering if it's a new style
These
engine.
are trying to get away from that. I don't know the details, but if you remember right, the Max Force engines that were nothing but a nightmare were trying to avoid DEF too, and so this is kind of the same type of work. They're trying to take care of the emissions with dual turbos and stuff like that. I'm not sure I want to be the guinea pig on that. So the other option is the HX, which they give you a pricing on a stock model, but they've got one coming. But you'd be taking what they've got ordered, and that's just with a set back axle. Normally we get a set forward axle, it's a little longer wheel span. I think they have better traction with a set forward axle than a set back. And this is with an automatic. It would be built in April or May. They've also got a body set up with Viking already. They could replace this with our build that we've already got, but not exactly to the T. Some things they can use, some things they can add, some things they can't. And the bottom line is it's gonna end up with our equipment package is gonna be another $6,000 more. So by adding the things that this package is lacking, and apparently there's things in there that we didn't have that this does have, because it's adding up to another $6,000 more in money. That's what it just those add-ons bumps the price up another $6,000. So I'm thinking that can become confusing too. Trying to.
Was there a price on that?
Yeah, it's 120, basically 120,000 on the package deal.
Is this
which
the
really-
HV one?
HX.
HX.
It's really, that number really doesn't,
That's just the truck.
no, that's the equipment.
Okay.
Oh,
So the truck, yeah, it's really confusing, and I'm not good at explaining it. I understand it in my head, but to explain it all out. There's so many different options here. So this is a price on an HX that they've got coming in stock, and it's got an automatic transmission for $180,000. And
Just the truck.
just the truck. That's
So you're
just
talking
the truck.
$300,000 for a package deal.
Yeah. So we've already bought the equipment for 114, so.
Right.
So yeah, it's gonna be in the ballpark of 300,000. It should be less than that, but yes, we knew that before. So that's the truck they got coming for $180,000 with an automatic transmission. If we were to order an HX, you're gonna have a Cummins engine. You wouldn't have to worry about this new engine. And with a standard transmission, it could be built about the same time. You got $10,000 less, which is like $170. Which then that puts us in the same ballpark as the Western Star here, which he gave us a price on an 18-speed Western Star, standard transmission, and he also gave us one with an automatic. Which that's 174, so it's gonna be about the same ballpark.
And this truck is,
and the standard and the automatic are roughly the same price with the Western Star?
Yeah, one's, the Western Star, that's 174, the automatic is 175 something. Because Western Star and Freightliner right now can't get the Allison transmission for an automatic. It's gonna be their own, a Detroit automatic. They're less expensive than the Allison, but if we go standard transmission, it doesn't really matter, and we can get it built sooner.
And that's only Western Star that can't get the Allison, or can the International can get the?
International can still get the Allisons, but if you get one ordered a truck with an Allison transmission, it wouldn't be built till August.
And this is, it's got 0 on extended warranty, so this is just a basic warranty,
Yeah,
because we usually add an extended
yeah,
on.
that would be afterwards, after the truck came, you can add that on any time. And he did send us a copy on that, but I didn't think it was something we needed to talk about tonight.
Can you tell me about how many years the add-on warranty is then? Is that
I think it's 7 years.
It
you know?
depends, it's always different, I didn't look at what he even sent, it's usually 7 or 8 years. And I know you have talked about leasing, and talking to both of these guys, it doesn't sound like that's the way to go, because it's not like leasing your car. You have to, they base the price off of what that truck needs to value at the end of the lease, what they can sell it for, so it's not like your car where you're just turning in and start over with a new one. I could have them come to a meeting and explain the whole details to you, but it doesn't sound like that's feasible option to do, leasing one of these trucks.
Probably not, but I think we need to change the.
Yeah, we're going like 10 years, and then we have, we're already starting to buy a new one because you got so much expenses at that point, so we can cut it to 7 and have all
It
the
needs to be short.
I think it needs to
Yeah.
go to like, oh, I was gonna say 7.
7 or 8 years.
Maybe it depends on your warranty, if you can buy an 8-year warranty, and when your
Right.
warranty, your 8-year extended warranty won't be bumper to bumper either, it'll be
Right.
on the motor and drivetrain. Your bumper to bumper stuff's still probably only gonna be 5 years
But
when
then
you buy extended.
if you were still good between the 7th and 8th year, you're gonna get better training out of it too.
Oh, for sure,
So-
yeah.
So we're not losing that way.
So I would say you could, it's gonna, the high price I got is 180,000. It's gonna be probably less than that, definitely if you go with a standard transmission, if I can, but the questions I got is how much less the Freightliner would be, and I think it's around $7,000 to $8,000 less
Then the Western Star.
than the Western Star.
So if you said the International with Allison transmission, if it doesn't get built till August,
Right.
which one starts being built sooner than later?
If we get a standard transmission, it would be, the one would be built in April and May. But you're looking at the same price as our Western Star. HXs international are more comparable to a Western Star. These HVs are more comparable to a Freightliner. And if you look at the pricing, they're gonna be follow exactly each other. Because these HVs, like I said, you got this engine that is new, different. This truck right here is 169,000. It has, so say 170. It has an automatic transmission, so if you got it with a standard transmission, it'd be 160,000. That's for the HV. And with a Freightliner, if you take the 174,000 for the standard transmission, took 10,000 off, and then you're looking at 164. So for Freightliner, so Freightliner and HVs are pretty comparable. Western Stars and the HXs are more comparable. And so I guess with that being said, if you could trust me to get my answers within the next couple of days, and knowing that it's not gonna exceed over 180, and it's gonna be less than that. Once I can get all the rest of the answers that I'd like to and feel confident in the decision that we're making, and then talk it over with Dean and Larry, or three of you, or whatever, we could order a truck within the next couple of days. Not have to wait another 2 weeks. And get it done. That way this truck, if you get one that gets built, I mean, that's the thing with the Western Stars, they'd be built in the second quarter, which would be the April, May, June type frame. And be delivered in July.
This year, of 25, I mean?
Right. To go to the equipment dealer.
Right.
And it may sit somewhere for a while, and they're gonna want their money for the cab and chassis up front, because it may sit somewhere until the equipment is ready. But we ordered equipment 1st of July, well, it should be ready August, September this next fall-ish. So, but the sooner the truck's there, the quicker it's gonna get in line to get the equipment done, so.
Right.
And which truck is this? It's number 4 that this is replacing?
Yeah,
And what year is that one?
it's a
I should know.
14. It's a 14. So in 24, it was 10 years old.
And the next one will be the 17?
Yep. So whatever we do here, we just need to rubber stamp it like maybe a year from now, 6 months from now, whatever we need to order this truck to have it here, get equipment to have it here, so that it'll be here for 2017. I'm not sure. The trucks are shortening up now, they're getting built a lot quicker, but the equipment, there's only 2 companies that are, they can get the equipment built, it's getting it set up on the trucks. There's only two companies in New England basically doing this.
And they're doing it probably every state of Vermont,
Yeah.
all the towns.
Tenco moved out of Vermont, and so they're still in business in Lakeville and in New Hampshire. One company, 2 different locations, and then there's Viking right here in Wilson. So yeah, there's less people putting them together than there was. There's only two places putting them together basically, and where there was 3. So that's really the whole nut now, is getting the equipment put on.
But we can make a motion for Joey to look into these issues and then to make a decision and confirm with you, Dean, within the next few days or the next week before our next meeting? Okay, I'll make that motion.
You can throw in that number not to exceed.
Not to exceed 180,000 based on Joey's information gathered and Dean's confirmation.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Motion to give Joey permission to order a truck not to exceed 180,000 after exploring it, answering the questions he wanted to answer. Any discussion on it? So with the You have one automatic or two now, Joey?
We've got
One.
yeah. I don't know, it's, personally myself, for me to drive one every day, I wouldn't want to. I drove that one that we got because I'm short-handed, so I've been plowing with it some, but I wouldn't want that truck for like one truck. But there's some people, you don't know who you're gonna hire. There's some people that only have a license for an automatic, you know, that's just a restriction on their license that they can't.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it can be, not necessarily everybody, I don't think.
Oh,
Some people do have a restriction that they've only been trained and took a test with an automatic, so it's a restriction. So you don't know who you're gonna hire, but with the people I got right now, two of them, they're more than capable of shifting
Shift right.
standard transmissions, and I think the standard's the way probably to go on routes where you've got a lot of hills. You take, where you're on flat
whose truck
ground.
is this?
What's that?
Who's driving for?
There he's driving forward right now.
So, makes sense to get another standard then if he's gonna replace that one.
And that's another thing, I did have a conversation with them, both of them, to see, I know who would prefer a standard over an automatic, but then again, like myself, I haven't drove that truck enough to really get used to it, to learn all the little tricks, like how you do this and that. So for certain things, it is nice to have an automatic, like for ditching or whatever, you're not pushing the clutch and backing up
Right,
5,
so
6 feet
summer
to the
months,
excavator.
summer months, yeah.
Or you're hauling from stockpile to stockpile, like from the sand pit to the garage, it's just like driving your car. You're not sitting there pumping the clutch pedal all day long. But when it comes to navigating up and down some of these real steep hills, yeah, both going up and down. Because yeah, you can lock them into a gear, but long times like that automatic going up a certain hill where it's really steep, you gotta put it in first gear and you're like full RPMs and you're hardly moving.
Right.
And all it's gonna take is just a little slip and you're gonna really be spinning. Where a standard, I know you could be in like a third, maybe fourth gear on the low side of the transmission and have more momentum.
Keep
And
flow
still
going.
get up through there faster. And you know, when it comes going downhill, it has an engine brake to help hold you back, and
Right.
it does do well, but it's still not like being able to put it down in a low gear. Besides the engine brake, this first
The automatic
gear,
has an engine brake?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So going up and down the road all day long, that's probably the answer. But sometimes when it comes to navigating these steep hills, up and down, I'm not sure it's not my truck of choice.
Right.
Maintenance wise, gonna be any difference? 10
Not
years,
really.
The automatic should still be okay, right?
Yep.
You guys have any, Larry, automatics you see?
No, we don't have any automatic.
They say the resale in the Western Stars are greater than the Internationals. I know in the past it's been the International order that everybody's afraid of and don't like. But you get the HX model that has the Cummins engine and then either the Eaton transmission for a standard or the Allison for an automatic, they get decent resale value too. So I think if we're to go international, the HX is the way to go, but they're right up there now with the Western Star price. So.
Yeah, me personally, I think if you got two standards there and one automatic, you may wanna just keep that ratio,
Yeah.
just so,
Before I was kind of thinking, well, you never know the way help is, you don't know who's going to drive it, if they're going to know the drive standard. But I guess if they can't, they're going to have to learn, you know.
right,
And most of them would want to learn.
yeah.
They just maybe just haven't had the opportunity. It's not something you want to stick them out in the middle of winter and learn.
Right.
They can drive through the summer and get used to it.
Any more discussion on this motion for the truck? Yeah, all those in favor enjoy permission after his investigation? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? It passes. It's good.
I would think that'd be the best time to learn, Joey. Stick them out there.
Jump
Stick you out there, see how you.
I don't know how to drive standards.
Jump right in the deep end. They'll figure it
Come
out.
right out there.
I know.
Oh,
They'll figure it out for sure.
baptism with fire. By fire.
And other thoughts on that is service. Anyone better than the other?
No, I think they're both
Good.
done the same. Charlie Board has been real good, parts and service as well. So we haven't had so much to do with them as we have, it's not Clarkson or Allegiance, which is G&B and Clarkson, they're both owned by Allegiance, which is a corporation.
Hmm.
Okay. Good. Do you have any more?
Just the employee, I'm thinking, telling BJ, and I think I mentioned it to Dean the other day, maybe we could just advertise it, I guess, throw the advertisement out there, see what we get. We had a guy that called and he went to Billy Joe's office, he's really eager to go to work, and he's kinda doesn't have a job right now, but I told him, like, I don't know, I said we might not hire anybody until spring, but he's available like right now. I think, if we can just use our part-time help to get us through the winter. Our part-time guy did, which we're very glad to have him, but he did mention the other day, he didn't know if he'd want to do it all the rest of the winter.
Oh, yeah, he supposed to put me on a chopping block, and I said, I don't have a CDL, I said.
Because he was talking of a trip they were gonna have, but then they didn't think they were gonna have it, but the other day he was thinking that
Montana?
maybe they were gonna,
Yeah.
like after the first of the year. So
Yeah, but
we
that's
might-
only for a week, right?
Yeah. Or so, I don't know how long, really.
It won't snow that week.
But if we got somebody else that we can help fill in part-time or whatever, we can get through the winter and then,
Maybe Lucius's wife, she got CDL, right?
yeah.
What does part-time entail, like just as needed, or are
Yeah.
there certain, just
Yeah.
as needed?
Every time it snows.
Okay, I might know somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dwayne had a CDL, right?
He said
Yeah,
it's-
that's
They
true.
call them at 2 in the morning, and when they're done plowing their roads, they can
Perfect.
head for home.
Keeps it out of your hair, right?
Full-time, no.
But, yeah, so maybe we could just throw the ad out there just to see what we
Yeah.
get for,
Yeah, that's the thing, if you don't get much, there's no, and you feel you get some part-time to get, we're not committed to having to hire if you only get one
right.
that answer the ad,
Yeah.
that's really not in line with what you want.
And I talked to the one that we had before that was waiting
Yeah,
for a while, and he's still very interested.
yeah, and that's the thing, yeah, give them a couple more months for that transition to happen,
Yeah.
transaction to happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He called me back the other night, he had some thoughts, he thinks he would take the health insurance now, but he still was kinda looking maybe for the still to get that number
Right,
per hour, so I'm not trying to sell it a special piece, but he's just, this is way.
well, your budget's coming down, so there's gonna be a couple more percent, 3%
I'm
more.
gonna call around to the Franklin County ones, Joey did a few years, 2 years ago, I think he did it.
Yeah.
And we're giving good raises and stuff.
Yeah.
The towns have been desperate, and
Yeah.
so the drivers have been able to kind of call the shots. So we have to stay competitive, so I'm gonna call around some of the locals and see if they can.
That makes sense.
It doesn't hurt to post it and see what you get.
Yeah,
I
Nobody
mean, somebody might
qualified.
be out because of the winter time.
so we got a
Maybe
couple
they'd like-
applications already, we got that one from before, that she wanted to know if he needed to reapply, and so I don't think so, nothing really changed, so we still got the copy of it, and the one that applied the other day, we got his, so we already got a couple, and we can just see what others we get, and with the anticipation of just kind of feeling it out, and we'll plan on, I think, working through the winter with the part-time help,
Yeah,
and I'll keep talking with the part-time guy we got there to see if he definitely is gonna be gone for a while and for how long, and if I can get somebody else to fill in while he's not around, and we can probably get by
Okay.
Yeah,
through the winter.
sounds good.
Thanks, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you, Joey.
Yeah. want this up here, Catherine?
Sure. I don't know, they want me.
Yes,
You want that?
Come on down.
we are.
All right.
Might as well.
It's,
You got it all done, might as well.
That's good, it's that same one that we've been using.
Yeah. It won't.
How are you doing?
Class.
Yeah,
Just like
where
a
you-
little recliner.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
good,
nice.
nice comfortable chair here. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me here.
Jessica Eccles.
Yeah,
I've heard the
yeah,
name.
yeah, and I've heard your voice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're temporarily trying to be able to be a regional
Oh,
commissioner.
yes.
Yeah,
That
before
was
yours.
before
yeah.
that, yeah.
And then your
It
schedule
was,
just,
it was tough. Is it, are you all still doing Zoom?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. We do, we're meeting in person, 3-4 times a year, but we
Oh,
always have a
okay.
Zoom available.
Okay, gotcha,
available, so-
gotcha. Well, that is nice.
It's
really
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, hi.
Hi.
A quick review, we are your regional planning commission. We serve Franklin and Grand Island counties, and we're a governmental organization. We are governed by a board that has 2 commissioners from each municipality in the region. So right now for Enosburgh Town, we have Jesse Woods, who has some scheduling challenges to be able to come, and we also have a vacancy. So I'll pitch an opening.
Does the village have?
Village also has 2 seats.
Not filled.
No. I think there's a vacancy at the village, so. Yeah. So we're happy to have another person from Enosburgh, and I will know, as Jessica and I were just talking, that you don't have to be able to drive to the meetings, because if you would rather join via your computer or your phone, you could do that as well. So that was a hurdle for some people, making the drive at night, once a month to come to our meetings. And we've gotten, since we made that change, we've actually gotten quite a few younger parents
Yeah.
joining the board, which has been great, to have just a little more diversity on the board. So, happy to have another appointee. So, the Regional Planning Commission, we're supported by primarily funds from state and federal grants. And we also get the contribution from all of our municipalities based on our per capita, and so we thank you for your contributions for Enosburgh Town. It's interesting because the amount of our budget that those dollars represent is actually pretty small on a percentage basis. So it's about $70,000 of a $3.5 million budget. But it is the funds, those are the funds that we use to match all of the grants that we get. So without those municipal funds, we wouldn't be able to get the rest of the budget. So it's really crucial funding for our organization, for the work we do in the region, so we appreciate that. We did send you, I don't know if everybody got a copy before of our year review. My printer died after 2 copies, so I don't have enough for everybody.
Did you come by email?
I think you probably got one by email, and it's on our website too, under your town, so I
I
can
wonder if I
leave.
didn't get one of them.
Well, yeah, you probably got it, but we don't need to mention that. But I just wanted to hit a couple of the highlights of the work we did with Enosburgh this year. One, of course, is the salt shed, which we know we're not gonna talk about tonight. But one really exciting project we worked on with Enosburgh is the Municipal Energy Resilience Program. And that's with Marlena Valenta, our energy planner. She worked with the town to get energy efficiency assessments done on several buildings. To get assessments done on several buildings, and to help with the implementation grant. And Enosburgh got funding for the Opera House, the library, the armory. And so we're really excited for you to have gotten that implementation funding for energy efficiency. And if you do need assistance with project management for any of those projects, we are available to assist with that. The other thing that we do at Northwest Regional Planning is we serve as what's called the clean water service provider for the Missisquoi Basin. So we are basically the funnel for state clean water funds to do clean water projects within the Missisquoi Basin. And we have a floodplain project that we funded with NRCS to do within Enosburgh, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Is that the group that Sarah Downs is on?
Yeah, that sounds right. And then the other thing that we do is we have for almost 3 decades helped manage the Missisquoi Valley Rail Trip. Because even though it's a state-owned resource, we struggle to get anyone at the state to necessarily care about promoting it or coordinating it. So we've done a lot of work over the years, like all of the wayfinding work, all of the marketing work has been done by our office. And we recently did work with the state, who now has a person managing rail trails with the Lamoille and the Missisquoi. We worked with them to do a new interactive mapping guide. So on the website, there's a new interactive guide, and we have a trail-friendly business program, lots of Enosburgh businesses. So we're pretty excited about that project.
Are we able to get a link to that to put on our website?
Yes, I can send that to you. All right, I will do that.
Thank you.
So, those are just some of the highlights of the work we're doing with you. We also are working on the last legs of a bylaw modernization and update project, and I know working to try to schedule a meeting with the Planning Commission to finish up that project. And then the other thing we are required to do is every several years we have to do what's called a consultation, where we meet with the town and talk about how planning is going, and usually it involves the Planning Commission. Enosburgh is unique because you have a joint planning program with the village and the town. So I know what Greta is trying to do, Greta from the office is trying to do is set up a smaller group meeting with a select board member or two, a planning commission member or two, same with the trustees, and then maybe the village manager or whoever. And so I was wondering,
Please respond, 288 Church Street, apartment 3, 23-year-old male feeling dizzy, hearing loss and chest pain, sounds after repeating a page, Court, Enosburgh ambulance. Please respond, 288 Church Street, apartment 3, 23-year-old male feeling dizzy, hearing loss and chest pain, sounds after standby for acknowledgement, 1900.
so, sorry about that. I don't know what to do. Would you just keep going?
Yeah.
You pretty much have to stop.
Yes, okay.
Hopefully we'll be in the army
And then you try to
someday.
like transition from that to me finishing my sentence, but I'll go back to where I was at. So Greta's trying to schedule a smaller group meeting and would be happy to know if there's anybody in particular on the select board she should be reaching out to try to schedule that.
I was gonna discuss it with them a little bit.
Oh, you are?
We should- Yeah,
Okay.
it's just- I've been in contact with Greta.
Oh,
And we
okay.
it's been a lot of, between DRB, these guys have had salt and sand shed meetings and stuff, so it's just getting towards Christmas, so that's why, I know Greta's been kind of, really wanting to get it together, and it's been a conflicting thing, so I was gonna run it by these guys again, so.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And we talked, the last time I talked to Greta was possibly maybe an afternoon, daytime something,
Yep.
to see, and again, just to see what everyone's schedule was here, so.
All right, so you're on that.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just been kind of a
I was
challenge.
just gonna say, would that be something after the holidays, like after the new
Or
year?
into January.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you just
Perfect.
the next 10 days.
It's so busy.
25th good for you?
I have some wiggle room, 24th, 26th.
Okay, great. And so that's coming. And then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about tonight, if you don't have any questions about the projects we're working on with you, is Act 181 that was passed last year by the legislature. So Act 181 made changes to Act 250, to the state designation program, and to regional planning. So it made changes to those three areas. The overall goal of the bill was to do work at the Act 250 level to help encourage housing. And so in terms of changes to Act 250, there were some immediate changes that went into place in July 1st, and that was to exempt housing projects of a certain size from Act 250. So as of July 1, projects of 50 units or less, on 10 acres or less, that are in a designated village, which Enosburgh has, and a quarter mile outside of that, do not need an Act 250 permit. Prior to that change, if you were 10 units or more, you needed an Act 250 permit. So that was a big change. And it was really meant to try to encourage folks to take advantage of opportunities to build housing by removing that uncertainty that Act 250 can bring, because even though most projects are approved eventually, there's the time, the cost, and the uncertainty that is added onto that. And so that was an immediate change that happened. There were also other immediate changes, like accessory dwelling units are exempt from Act 250, even if you already have an existing permit. Hotel conversions to housing and commercial conversions to housing are also exempt from Act 250. So those are the big changes immediately to Act 250. And then for regional planning, there's been a fundamental change in regional planning. So just like the town has a town plan, we have a regional plan. And most people have never read it because it doesn't mean much. You know, there's value in doing the planning and to set the vision and whatnot, but beyond completing the regional plan and participating under criteria 10 in Act 250 projects, we don't use the plan a lot, quite honestly. What this bill does is it now is making the regional plans foundational for determining where Act 250 applies and where the state designation program applies. So right now, as part of the regional plan, we do a future land use map and plan. It's very similar to the one in your town plan. It lays out, like, here's the downtown centers, here's the, conservation areas, because it's above 2,500 feet or whatever. Those regional land use maps are now going to be done the same way by every regional planning commission in the state. So we're going to be updating ours over the next year and a half to reflect this new law. With the adoption of the regional plan, there are 4 land use areas that are focused around growth, and those are the centers, the village or planned growth areas, and so there's downtown center, village center, a village area, and a planned growth area. So those 4 growth areas are really focused on growth, and the boundaries of those in our regional plan are going to serve as the boundaries for the state designation program. So right now, you as an Enosburgh had to apply to a state body to get approval for your village designation. So did every other 200 towns in the state. And then you have to renew it every 8 years, and you have to go through the process, and that's all going to be gone. You won't have to do that anymore. We'll be working with you to figure out where the boundaries should be. And they're probably going to get bigger, so more areas going to be eligible for the state incentive programs. We're going to work with the town to figure out where those boundaries should be. Once our regional plan is done and approved by a new state body, then your designation is in place and you don't need to do anything else.
So a question I have about what you just said when you said it doesn't really come to play with us too much. So Matt Hull was trying to do a cell tower outlet at his farm. If I'm not mistaken, the regional plan did come into play
It did
for
for
that.
the Public
And it
Utilities
went
Commission.
against us in that way, if I'm not misinformed, right?
Yeah, so the regional plan does come into play into 2 areas. One is Act 250, because projects that go through Act 250 have to be in compliance with the regional plan. And then Public Utilities Commission, so for utilities, cell towers, et cetera.
So will that change anything? Because here, I mean, if you come to the village, you're good. You can get cell service. Berkshire, Bakersfield, Jeffersonville, Fletcher, dead zones. We need more cell towers. And so what can we do to influence that part of the regional plan to promote that?
And so when we open up the regional plan to do the new land use section, that I believe that the policies that came into play in that project were in that section. And so it would be a good opportunity to get that feedback.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think we could talk about it a long time about that tower. And it wasn't the location, it was the speculative nature of the tower rather than having. But anyway, we can talk
I'm just
about that one
saying,
forever.
we need towers in general for this county. Because it comes down to what we have discovered recently. And not on a personal thing, like I need to play a game or something. Safety, with our fire department and our ambulance services, we've been having terrible trouble with our radios. And they can't communicate with each other. And then you have the thought of, okay, your teenage daughter is driving home through Bakersfield, gets a flat tire. You know, things like that. So it's a safety thing, not so much as a gaming thing, or I just want to be on my phone to check Facebook. it's a safety thing like this right now. So we just wanna encourage someplace the ability to have some towers.
Yeah, so that'd be a good opportunity to have that conversation. And I hear you, even though I live in Fairfax and you see cell towers from my house, there's no service actually on my house. And in lots of other places where my kids drive, so.
Yeah, so it's scary, it can be very
Oh,
scary.
absolutely, yeah, I hear you. So the regional plan will serve as the designation now, so making the town and village eligible for the incentive programs. The other thing the regional plan will do is, I mentioned those initial changes to Act 250 that are already in place. If the town chooses to opt in, it's called in the bill, then those growth areas, so the downtown area and the growth area around it, that interim exemption for Act 250 housing that's in place now, the town will get to decide, do we want to continue that in the long term? So those areas that we show on the map that are planned for growth, working with you to figure out where those are, you'll get to decide, should that 50 unit or less exemption be in place in the long term?
That's what the opt-in is.
That's what the opt-in is. Yeah, so it'll be basically continuing what's there now, but in the long term, the boundaries will be slightly different because we'll have the opportunity to adjust those. So those are the big changes. So the regional plan is actually going to make a difference for the state designation program and Act 250 jurisdiction. We are going to be working over the next 4 to 6 months to get some initial drafts of the map done. We're going to be meeting with all the planning commissions in our towns, all the planning commissions in the towns to get some initial feedback on those maps and to make sure that the towns are comfortable with the maps as they're drawn. And then we'll go through, a larger public engagement process and then go through the adoption process. But we really want to work closely with the towns first before we do a broader public engagement, because we don't want to go out to public engagement with not that towns are like, oh, wait a minute. We want you to be comfortable with the maps first. So as part of that schedule, the town will be back to you, either we'll be back in person or someone from the planning commission or whoever will be back to ask you that question of, do you want to opt in? And that'll probably be in the mid to late summer would be when you would need to make that decision. So you'll have some time to live with the interim Act 250 exemptions and see how that feels for your community and then go from there.
So it'll be up to us whether we want to follow these new rules or not.
Yep. The interim exemption for the 50 units or less is in place until the end of 2027, I believe. So that'll be in place, even if you don't opt in, the interim stays in place for a couple more years after that. But if you wanted to continue beyond that, you'll need to say, yes, we want to be. And what it basically does, if the only towns eligible for this have to have zoning and subdivision regulations. And right now, if you have zoning and subdivision regulations, commercial projects up to 10 acres can be built without an Act 250 permit. So this is the same thing, it's basically being residential on park. So some big changes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It was an attempt to get Act 250 to pay attention, not just to what you're building, but actually where you're building it.
Thank you.
Seems like a lot of changes,
A lot of changes.
a little too fast maybe. Okay. All right.
So that's what okay.
And then Jesse will just touch base with us and
Great. Thank you for arranging that. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. It's nice seeing you all.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Before you leave, and I was just gonna approach Marie Burleson there. They've got a bunch of food out here. If we want to take a little recess and have a little bite to eat, they wanted to share it for everybody.
That's nice.
Oh, that's very nice. All right.
If you want to do that or not, but it's on table with them.
We should do Shauna first.
Or yeah, we can do Shauna real quick.
Did you hear that, Sean?
I'm going to be here for about An hour. Oh, I can cut it.
It's riding the rail.
Yeah.
Turn on the rail.
It really is.
Must be magnetic.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
You guys can take turns going out there and getting food and bringing it back.
Yeah, don't, go get food.
It's not gonna take you very long to get a plate.
No, go get food. I gotta
Wanna
get myself
consult the
together
lead.
anyway.
I'll wait. I'll wait till after.
Stay.
No, you guys can go.
BCA invited business and community members to kind of come together, and our concern was, you know, the empty storefronts popping up and, you know, how can we fill them? That was kind of the driving force behind it. And we had upwards of 25 or so people. Yeah, were you there too? No, okay. And so from that meeting came a number of things. We did a survey to kind of feel people out on kind of the good and the bad in Enosburgh. We talked about obviously the empty storefronts, and a lot of what came out of it was a lot of people said that, you know, coming into town, starting a new business. Were you there for that meeting?
I wanted to go.
That's okay. I'm just trying to remember who was there. I didn't have my list. You know, as coming into town to start a new business, knowing like where to go, what to do, who to talk to, so the resources. So Abby, and I don't know if she's talked to you yet, but Abby created a resource tab on the village's website. I think we were hoping to be able to get it on the
Oh, she
town's
did, okay, no,
website.
I'm sorry, she didn't tell me that she had done it. We had
Yeah.
talked originally. but-
Yep, so it's done in live on theirs, and it's basically a resource tab kind of pointing people to a bunch of different places that she's compiled. Jesse's name is on there. You made the tab.
I made that. It's good or bad?
But one of the other things, you know, was like, how do we get the word out about Enosburgh? And kind of just that economic development piece. And what does it look like? And, you know, if somebody wants to move here to live, move here to work, like, how are we marketing Enosburgh? If you Google, you know, you want Enosburgh to come up at the top of the list, and what are you seeing? So, it was tossed around, it'd be great to have some kind of promotional marketing, economic development video. And so, Tom Benton, do you all remember him from The Messenger? He used to cover Enosburgh all the time. And he, a little bit of his background in this proposal, but he just really, I think he cares about Enosburgh as much as we do without actually living here. And so he was the first person. I knew that he had gone out on his own, doing his own production stuff, and he was the first person that I kind of thought of for this. So Liz Green and I and Betsy Germany sat down with Tom and kind of just talked about, you know, what we were looking for as far as kind of everything I just said. And he was super excited, like dove right out into the concept. It's kind of like a live here, play here, work here kind of thing. And so he put this proposal together for me. And I actually, I think I meant to, but Billy Joe, I can email you a list. He had kind of a link to some of his work. Did I send that already? I did, I apologize. Anyway.
Did you say his name was Benton or Fenton?
Tom Benton with a B. And I can leave this with you when I go. So basically, this is kind of his concept. And
what I'm looking for is money, obviously. I am looking to see if the village and the town will split the cost. The EVA does have some money that we can and are willing to contribute. It's not thousands and thousands of dollars, but we do have some money that we are definitely willing to put in there. Overall, this proposal says that the project is $14,000. But I asked him to put that number in here, like the high side. So realistically though, it's fair to say the cost could run anywhere from 10 to 14. So it's not necessarily that full 14. When I met with the trustees, they definitely were not against the idea. John thought it was a good idea. They obviously were curious what you guys thought if you were willing to buy in. I know there's like that economic development kind of, I feel like if we had that position still, this is totally something that they could be working on or doing or pushing, but I just feel like somehow there's gotta be a way to kind of, we have so much going for us, right? Whether you want to move here to live or start a business here, completely walkable. Like if you live in the village or anywhere where you can walk, can you think of anything that you would need that you can't get here? And we've got the recreation and the rail trail and just so many great things to promote. So,
are you thinking promoting like on the web primarily, or like how would these videos get dispersed?
Yeah, so I asked him that question, and that's all part of this budget.
Oh, is that hope they'll
Yes.
do all of the? Oh, that's good.
Yep. And he said it really depends on the initial research that they conduct, where the people are that they want to reach, Instagram, LinkedIn, TV, local ads on streaming services, what demographic that we're targeting. But, those are the kinds of questions, it's hard to say, but those are the kinds of questions and things that he would look at before
That's
coming up
great.
with a
Yeah.
specific marketing plan.
Yeah.
And obviously, so it's not necessarily something you're gonna be tuning into the 6 o'clock news
Right.
and you're gonna see this spot come up for Enosburgh, Vermont. It's more of a, if someone, like if you're going on a trip somewhere and you wanna find out, you wanna, say you're searching walkable community, let's just say that. And you want to Google search something, and we want Enosburgh to come up, right? If someone's searching for whatever reason, to visit, to live here, to work, to open a business here. So that is the ultimate goal.
I was gonna say that.
So then they could click on a video inside of that,
Right.
and it
Like
gives you like a little walk around
It
the
could also
village.
live on, the village and the town website.
We were watching.
Will there
this-
be like tribal papers, or is it just a,
No,
this
this
is
is
just
this
electronic?
is, yes, this is a video. So it's it's kind of like a flash ad kind of thing that, maybe you can click through after that to other, like to the village or the town website or something like that.
So my only worry is, and maybe because I didn't talk to him and I don't know the concept.
And he's willing to come, like if the town and the village were willing to consider investing in this together, he's willing to come in and if there's a couple of you that wanna meet, a couple from the trustees, a couple from the select board, and meet with him, and kind of ask questions and, before making a final decision, he's more than willing to do that, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. My concern is just overall, so this is not like a spotlight on certain businesses, because using taxpayer money, we don't
No,
want to
definitely.
focus on certain and then accidentally
Nope.
leave somebody out and then.
Yeah, no, it's an overall, this is Enosburgh, this is who we are, kind of highlighting,
our resources.
No, I think it's great, I just, my worry always is like,
Yeah, no, no, no.
you don't wanna stick
Yeah, yeah,
somebody
no.
and have a
It's
heart
not a
failure or
spotlight,
something.
no.
Okay.
So he said, and I'm just gonna read verbatim what he said to me. Hard to say up front. Those are the kinds of questions we would ask before committing to a marketing plan. How we would market depends on the plan as well. It could entail some kind of form of ad buy, but if you're targeting the right people in the right forum with a really knockout product, then we should be able to generate self-sustaining buzz, meaning people would share it, talk about it, and that just snowballs. It doesn't mean that we should just expect to post it on Facebook and watch it take off, but it might mean we drop it as an ad on the right New England real estate magazine website and watch it take off from there. So it's not like, this is just something that's gonna live on Facebook, right? But like finding the right spot for something like this that he was mentioning. He said part of the strategy and part of the project cost would probably be some print visuals based off of the videos to run in the appropriate venue as well. We see a lot of this with the big league advertisers right now. Video is king, but it really rules when it's supported well in the right places. Again, I would factor the design of any additional marketing materials into the project cost. Hopefully this emphasizes this is not just a 30-second flash ad, we're really talking about a marketing campaign for Enosburgh. So that's, because that was a question the trustees had and I didn't really have a good answer, so you have the benefit of a better answer from me.
We have $5,000 in that, expense line for this year.
That's what's left.
That's
From
all we
that.
put in this year.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because at one point it had, there
We
was-
never funded it, so like,
Gotcha.
if it didn't get used in a year, it just rolled either with a deficit or with what we had extra, so
Yep.
it's not fund-based.
And that's what it was, this year was put in there, is
5,000.
5,000.
So that's sitting there from, like, or that's what's anticipated for next year's budget?
Nope, that's what's
Sitting there now?
for 24.
Okay, so like, have you, I know you guys are doing budgeting and stuff, have you considered, like, will that just roll over and you won't
We
add
don't
to it,
roll things
or-
over in our budgets unless
Oh.
it's like equipment fund, that's why I said
Gotcha.
fund-based, so like Joey has
So
a
you would
fund
say
for
we wanna
equipment.
do the same amount next year, or
We would have to say
wanna
that,
do
or
it
yes.
more, or whatever, okay, gotcha, I understand. So I will send Billy Joe, the link, because so there's a hotel in Springfield, it's called Hartness House, I think, and he did kind of similar, not the exact same thing, because this is for a hotel specifically, or an inn, I should say, but he did kind of, it kind of just shows his style, his creative style. The trustees had asked me, you know, did I get bids from anybody else? And I said, honestly, no, because I worked with Tom a lot, you know, when he was covering for the Messenger, but just in general. And I just think, honestly, he really is the person for the job. Like he had, I mean, it says right here on the first page, like he grew up, his grandparents had a camp on the Carmine in Franklin, and, you know, he always came to Enosburgh, like, so he has ties, like, it's not just another project for him, and I'm not just trying to sell him by saying that, but you, like, genuinely can feel that when you talk to him, like, the meeting that we had, like, he was super excited, like, totally, before we even kind of, totally got the concept of what we were, you know, before we could really even kind of put it into words, so I just feel really strongly that he's the guy, and I don't think you're gonna find a better price either. I think when I first mentioned that to in our EDCA meeting, some people were like sticker shock, but I was like, if you do some research on what something like this by a big production firm like actually costs, I think you're gonna see it's double. And you're getting quality work from somebody who
cares.
yeah.
And that's the key, is to get in the right places so it pops up and
Yes, exactly. And so, I mean, I think next steps, if you guys aren't gonna laugh me out of the room, would be to see if there's a couple of you, whoever, and then some trustees that wanna get together with Tom and kind of review it, further ask questions, kind of talk to him yourselves, so that it's not just me telling you, but you can kind of get a feel from him. And then, I mean, as far as timeline goes, that's kind of the question I was trying to nail down with him. He was shooting a big project, like we met with him in maybe end of September, beginning of October, and he was just getting ready to start a big project. So I just got the proposal from him before I met with the trustees, the week of Thanksgiving. Because he was just finishing it up and starting it, so, and that timeline kind of depends on his schedule too, once he gets a commitment, so.
Hey, so this is just an idea, this isn't what he's planning on this timeline he's got in this handout?
No, let me see. What page?
Spell, I don't know, third from the last, fourth from the last probably.
Well, no, here you go. Here's the timeline. So yeah, so, I mean, it's essentially a year project. It's not like it's gonna happen like
Right.
in a month.
Mhm.
But I think too, like, you know, like the beauty of the seasons, you wouldn't want everything shot in one season.
Right, yeah. Yeah, again, it's like in March you can show like sop buckets or something, you know, whatever, and then you get parks in the summer and then leaves and fall, whatever, yeah.
No, I think it's a great idea to try to get a little more promotion for Enosburgh.
Maybe you can find some police officers this way.
Right.
So yeah, so anyway, I guess my question is, are you interested, is this like a hard no, you're crazy, or do you want to kind of talk a little bit more with the trustees and Tom?
I think it's a good idea, but that's just my opinion.
John thought so too.
I don't know what everybody else's.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
out there, we probably should have something.
It'd be interesting to see what,
Would it involve a little bit more than just the village, if it's all town money's going into it, would it be like some of the businesses outside of the village that we
Yeah.
throw it in a little bit?
Again, I think it's Enosburgh as a whole concept, not just, you know, there's more to Enosburgh than just the village.
Right. Yeah, cause you can show like the town forest and stuff like that in there, and here's a recreation area.
Pulling the right people to the community is plus.
So should I reach out to him and see if there's some dates that he might be available?
I don't know, an issue with that.
Yeah.
Good, bad.
what did he say?
He said no.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. All right, I will do that. Do you have,
That, or maybe we
Initial-
should meet in just the village first and just
you should what?
meet with the village separately
Yeah.
and see their brainstorm. And just,
It wasn't a village thing, it was.
No, yeah, this was the.
no, I understand that, but make sure everyone's on board. I don't know, I just.
So you're gonna find a date that
Yeah, I'll
works for
reach
him,
out
and
to
then you
him
can
and
reach out
just
to
see
me
if
and
he can
to.
throw out some dates
them,
to
and
me,
then
and
we
I
can
will send
figure
them
one
to
out.
you
Okay.
guys collectively and see if there's a time we can get some people, together to.
It's easier if we don't have
explore
a
it.
quorum on either side. It's easier to mix with two and two.
Whatever you guys wanna do. That part doesn't matter to me. Okay. I just wanted to get people around the table and keep the discussion going.
So does he, I have a quick question. Does he have, go back to that line. So is there, I guess it would be hard, but is there, you know, you think of surveys, like how did you hear about this, real estate agent, or, you know, like is it by the web, by TV ad, but is there a way to gauge at the end? Do they try to figure out how much of their video?
Like where it's hitting, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
just-
I'm sure there must be in that
Okay,
world
I'm just
some
wondering,
way
like,
to
if
do
that's
that.
part of the overall plan, is if they do like a summative kind of, hey, this is how many, you know.
I'm guessing it's gonna be a lot of like, what you know how like you talk about on Facebook when you talk about an idea
Right.
and it comes up?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of marketing is coming from now and that, you know,
Okay,
keywords.
so it'll,
A lot
okay.
of, you go to, like Shauna said, you go to search, you know,
But there won't,
recreation
will there
areas.
be like,
I want, yeah, it could be like multiple videos within
Yeah.
this, you know,
Right.
whatever area this person's looking at Enosburgh for.
Yeah.
but you know how we have
Recreational
views,
or
like 100,000
shopping.
views, like
Right,
will
I'm
there
sure
be
that-
like,
right,
okay.
right,
Yeah, that would just be interesting to see how many things are out there for the.
It's all that directed marketing, so if
Right,
you're
okay.
literally thinking about something now and in the World
Yeah.
Wide Web, it shows up on your Facebook or on
That's
your
true.
Instagram or your feed or your whatever. You know, it's just
That's
certain
great.
keywords that you gotta nail those keywords correctly.
Yeah.
And he does talk about that in
Yeah.
his, Okay, good.
Thank you.
I'm sure you have a huge agenda behind afterwards.
And you're going to send over the link to me so that I
Yes, I
can share
will.
it.
Yeah, and again, that is just the, for that specific, in Hartnett.
Where does he live? Where does Benjamin live?
So he splits time between Springfield and St. Albans.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thanks, Shauna.
Well, hey, if I don't run into you, have a wonderful
You too.
holiday, you
Yeah,
guys.
you too. Thanks for all your work on the lights and the dark and everything.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Parade turned out good.
Oh, very good.
Yes,
You
thanks
probably
for
warmed up,
inviting
you probably
friends.
warmed up by now.
Actually, I wasn't cold.
Oh, you were? Yeah.
No, I think it's because I was.
Sally was the one I
felt.
felt for. Sally Tryhard, she was like,
Oh, they were cooking pizza.
she was like
Yeah.
so cold. I
They
was like,
sold out.
well, they did. Wow,
did
that's
well.
good, good.
Yeah, we got some things to tweak. We made some changes to the parade and stuff, but I think it was all right.
Yeah.
Overall, off the record.
Oh, that's right.
Tough egg to
Color
crack
guard,
here.
color guard over here.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Thanks.
Alright, so the only other thing is the policing, which probably ought to do
Executive.
that in executive, and that'll be our last thing of the night.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second it.
So moved, Pierre seconded to go into executive. Any discussion on it? All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
All right.